Buildsoft Cubit is a comprehensive 2D and 3D takeoff and estimating software package with different screens for managing jobs, building price lists, taking off from plans, and working on jobs. The Job Manager user interface is divided up into various elements. Most of the controls are found in the ribbon, and most of the information is visible in the job list and the job details. Cubit projects are the top level of organization for your data in Cubit. Projects can contain jobs and folders. Projects are customizable and can be used to sort your information how you use it. You can name your projects after clients, locations, months, or any way that suits you best. To create a new project, click the arrow underneath the New Job button in the List group of the Home ribbon. Select Project from the drop-down menu. Then type the project name into the New Project box. Then click OK to add your project to the job and project list. You can easily rename projects by highlighting the project on the project and job list, then clicking the rename button in the list group of the ribbon. Edit the project name, then hit the Enter key to effect the change. You can also delete projects by highlighting the project and in the list group of the Home ribbon, clicking the Delete button. If a project contains jobs and folders, by deleting the project, you will also delete all the jobs and projects within. And this operation is irreversible. Cubit asks you to enter the word delete into the delete project box and then click the word delete to be 100% sure that you are aware that you're deleting a project and all jobs and folders within. The job and project details can be saved and accessed by clicking on the project name in the job and project list. The project segment contains information specifically about the project. When you enter project details, these will set a default for any jobs created in that project. You can rename the project by entering in a new name in the name box. You can type a description of the project. You can enter a name of the builder. A date is automatically assigned from the date of creation, but it can be changed if required. The Use as Template tick box will set any job created in the project as a template job, and the status and freeze state options are used to lock down parts of any jobs created in the project. The bottom section, site address, you can type in the address of the construction site, and the information is divided up into street, suburb, state, postcode, and country. You can save client details for each project from the Client Details section of the Job Manager screen. Client details are broken into two segments, Company and Contact. From the Company segment, you can search for, create, or edit a company's details. A company is universal in Cubit, so making changes to a company from one job will also change the same company's details that may have been used in another job. From the Contact segment, you can also search for, create, and edit a company's contact details. The contact is universal again in cubit, so making changes to a contact in one job that contact may have been used in another job, it will also be changed. You can edit and clear both the company and contact details using the client section of the Job Manager screen. Jobs are where your estimating and takeoff work is completed. All plans used are also stored within jobs. Jobs can easily be copied from project to project and can be exported and imported to and from another cubit user, whether they be within your organization or a part of an external organization you are working with. To create jobs, select the project where you want the job stored. Click the arrow underneath the New Job button in the list group of the ribbon. Select Job. Name your job in the New Job window. You can select to use a template from the list of templates if you want, and base the job that you're creating on a previous job you marked to be a template. If you are using a template, you can indicate whether you want to strip the quantities from that template job. To create your new job, click the OK button. And the new job is then established within the project you highlighted. To find jobs that you've created using filtering, a filter row is available to you in the project and job list. The filter row appears underneath the columns that are added to the project and job list. By simply typing in some text into one of the filter rows, the project and job list will be filtered accordingly and will display only those projects and jobs that contain some or all of the text entered into the filter column. Additional columns can be added using Column Chooser. To operate Column Chooser, right-click over the Name column in the project and job list and select the Column Chooser option. A customization window will appear with the additional columns that can be added to the project and job list. Simply drag and drop the column or columns that you want, and then if necessary, reposition the project and job list so that you can see more of it, and the project and job details and the company and client contact details will compress as you make the project and job section of the Job Manager larger. This will then allow you to filter on the additional columns that you've added. Again, by typing in some text into the column filter row, the project and jobs will be filtered based upon the text that you've entered in. Copying jobs from one project to another is also a very easy task. Highlight the job or jobs that you want to copy. Right-click the mouse and select the copy option. Then highlight the project that you want to copy the job to. Then right-click again and select the paste option. When you create a job, the job details on the right-hand side will take the properties entered when the project was created, but can be overridden and be specific for the particular job. For instance, you can rename the job at this point. You can add a different description to the project description, a different builder to the project builder, and a different site address if that is applicable. The company and contact details will again come from the default setup with the project if it was set up, and as before, you can search, add and edit the company and contact details using the client section of the Job Manager screen. Housekeeping functions can also be performed on this Job Manager screen using the data group of the ribbon. Exporting work from Cubit to somewhere on your hard drive as a backup of your jobs is highly recommended and can be done by simply highlighting a job or jobs within a project. By holding the Control key down, you can highlight multiple jobs and back up multiple jobs or export multiple jobs in one go by highlighting them and then in the data group of the ribbon clicking the Export button to display the Export Job dialog box. You can select a location by clicking on the button to the right of the job export path. This will allow you browse to the location on your hard drive that you want to export the job or jobs to. If you are dealing with an external organization, you may want to exclude some detail from the job. For instance, if you would prefer not to allow the recipient see the details of what is in your calc sheet, but rather just the total of the quantity, or if you would like them not to see how you've built up your rates, but just see the total rate, or if you would prefer them not to have access to the plans you've used, these tick boxes can be unticked and the backup export of the job will not contain the details specified. To back up your jobs and export them to the location you've selected, click the Export button. You can also import jobs. These may be jobs that you have exported previously, or they may be jobs that you have received from an external source. Highlight the project that you want to import the jobs into. Then in the data group of the ribbon, click the Import button, browse to the location where you've saved the job or jobs you've received, click the OK button. The system will then display the Import Job dialog box. In here, it will list out all the jobs that the system is finding in the location that you specified. You can then tick the jobs that you want to import into the project selected and then click the Import button down the bottom right hand corner of the Import Jobs dialog box. The job or jobs you selected will then be imported into the project that you highlighted. Finally, on the Job Manager, in the project and job list, the right click of the mouse is used to allow you to do a number of different operations, some of which we've already discussed. Could copy, paste, export, import, rename, delete, but it also allows you to create folders within projects. Folders allow you to manage and organize jobs in your projects. For instance, can create folders to break up larger projects into smaller sections and categories. So if you want to create a folder within a project, highlight the project, right click, create new folder, and it allows you to create a subsection of a project into which you can then store jobs for that particular subsection. You can also interact with project and job list by using the right click to expand all projects so you can see all the jobs within, or right click and collapse all projects so that you can see a top level list of your projects, and then using the expander button to the left of the project name, expand only the project or projects that you want to see the jobs within.
The Cubit system configuration options allow the user customize and regionalize Cubit to suit their own specific preferences. Default system options can be set on the Cubit application menu of the Job Manager. The option tabs are broken down into general options, reports options, jobs options, plans options, viewport options, integration options, and price lists. Under the general options tab, in the grid section, the user can decide how the system responds and looks when it's opened and displays projects and displays jobs. The top two options here, expand projects at startup and expand trade and headings when opening jobs, allow the user be able to display projects at startup in whatever way they want. If the option is ticked, when the system opens and on the job manager in the project and job list, projects will be shown expanded with all the jobs displayed below. If it's unticked here, the projects will be displayed collapsed and the user can then expand any project they want and see the jobs within. The second option allows the user to configure how a job is initially displayed when opened. If the user wants the jobs, trades and elements displayed collapsed, this item should be unticked, else the system will expand all trades and items when a job is opened. In the bottom part of the general options is the skin. This configures how the system looks and feels colors wise. The default is Office 2016, but can be changed to Office Black, Blue, Silver, Designer Black, Metro, and various other options in there to allow the user to configure how the system looks in general, menus, colors of menus, and so forth. The very bottom of the general options here is regard to licensing. Licensing refers to customers that have a floating cubit license. The floating cubit license allows the user to be able to have the software loaded on multiple machines. If this option, release license when exiting, is ticked, when the user exits the program, the license is released and can therefore be activated on another PC. Moving on to the report options, the very first thing to do here would be to insert your own company logo. You can use the select icon up the top right hand corner of this screen to allow you pick off where your logo is saved. It will then be added, it'll be into the preview here. On the reports it can be displayed in the center, left justified or right justified. At the very bottom of the screen you can indicate the BOQ options. These allow you to configure how the bill of quantities report will print out. For instance, you can display columns, quantity unit rate or unit quantity rate. You can also control currency and so forth, pounds and pence, euros and cents. If the BOQ options are set up in here, it means that every job that is created from this point hence will get these options set automatically. However, if a user is in a specific job and needs to override those options for a specific job, that can be done. Moving on to the jobs options on the left hand side, and a lot of options are in here. I'll concentrate on the main ones. Straight in terms of measurement units, the system can be set to calculate in metric or imperial. Rounding can be set on quantity calculation sheets, on rate sheets, and on the total column. Here you can see I've set my quantity roundings to be round up. So if a quantity is calculated at 1.1 square meters, the system will automatically round that to 2 square meters. However, it's worth pointing out at this point that individual quantities can be overwritten to whatever rounding you require. So for instance, things like steel that may need to be calculated to an exact value in tonnes can be set within the job to round up exact. The options here are defaults, which means that the system will most of the time operate like this, i.e. round up, and you can then override as you go. Default metric dimensions relate to calculations that Cubit can do for three-dimensional objects, such as walls. What is the default wall height you want to use? Cubic meter calculations, volumes, what depth do you want to use? Again, cubic meter calculations for trenches or footings. What width do you want to use? What depth do you want to use? Again, these are only defaults and can be overwritten for specific items within jobs. Scrolling down the bottom here, default adjustment in sales tax. This will need to be altered to, depending on what region you're in. In Australia, gross sales tax is used, or GST. In UK and Ireland, VAT will be entered, and depending on where you are in the UK or Ireland, the rate may change. Moving on to plans and the configuration of what the system should do with plans. The default option here when opening a job is to open the last used plan. This can be changed to open all recent plans or don't open any plans. The default option here for the maximum number of plans open is 2. A recommendation here would be to increase this to allow you to be able to see more plans when you're in a job. As you can see, this is set to 5. What this means is that 5 plans can be loaded and will be visible, and when a 6th is loaded, the first loaded will be hidden. When a 7th, the second loaded will be hidden, so that 5 are visible at any point in time. Any of the hidden plans at any point in time can be redisplayed using the plans window pane. Viewport options here on the left hand side allow you to be able to configure how things look and feel within the viewport. Integration allow you to connect to the Xero accounting system. If you have a Xero account, you can connect to it here and export from Cubit budgets for jobs and ordering, purchase ordering and so forth. Price list options allow you to be able to set a default price list so that when you're inserting from price list, the system will default to the one you've picked. Of course, you can import prices into any estimate from multiple price lists, and it's an easy option to allow you to be able to select additional price lists. All that's happening here is that you're indicating a default. When OK is clicked on the Cubit options menu, the options that you've set will be saved and will be set for any job or project that is created from that point hence.